too much, now I'm swallowed. Now I'm the fool while you're breaking rules. Dangerous path that I follow. Oh, go on, just do what you do. And it bleed for you, cry for you, oh, oh. Let me bleed. As I bleed for you, cry for you, oh, oh. Let me bleed. Let me all of the pain seems to follow, like a shadow dark and cold to the touch. Am I insane not to let go? Oh, go on, just do what you do. And it bleed for you, cry for you, oh, oh. Let me bleed.
Okay, hello everybody. Just a quick audio test. Let me know if the music's too loud. Actually, I turned down just a little bit to like about here. So yeah, let me know if the audio is good. If I need to turn my voice up, turn the music down, etc. Uh, Sorry, Silver One. That was kind of funny though. How's it going, everybody? My name is Hyden. I just put him in timeout. He asked for timeout, so yeah. Alright, let's get this started. How's everybody doing today? My name is Hyden, and I'm going to quickly just go over what we did in the last stream and what I did all last night. Basically, actually I don't even remember what we started in the last stream. It was mostly just failing constantly. Okay, alright, rewind a little bit. I spent about 6 hours here getting it so that I can use all of the potions in the game. So if we look, we can click health pot. It'll load up this little menu. This should say no effect. Haha, look at that. So if I then wanted to use this, boom, he's at 22 health. Elemental was healed, right? Also, if you look here, so like re-elemate. It might be hard to read because the screen's so small, so let me just, okay. Alright, so I can, once again, these things being off the screen is only because my screen is this much too short, and that top black bar is based on the top width. So like, if this is basically where the camera is, if this is up to here, it'd be higher up, and these three are still supposed to be in the center. So that'll be fixed on almost every display except for this example. So I'm going to ignore it for now. But anyways, if I now click re-elemate, it will revive this dude, and it says elemental has been revived. If I do unburn, it'll have no effect on the first two guys, but if I do on the first one, it will work because he is burned. I just haven't actually made the words appear there. That's where that little gap in the bottom right is supposed to be. Mateus is saying there's too much movement. There might be. Talking about this little pop-up effect, I kind of like it. You can also still go left and right, and it like resets. You press left right there, it'll reset. Clicking these does nothing still, but it knows we're trying to do something. If you look down the bottom left, it says show list of elemental actions. Here we have a problem though, because this shouldn't have fired since I have no items. So I have to put a check to saying if we actually have something, because if I press use, actually use does nothing yet anyways, so that's okay, I can survive with that. I'll have to fix this bug. These do nothing right now, so I can press use, does nothing, or I can press cancel. Cancel makes it go away. Pressing B makes it go away. Right clicking is also like left clicking unfortunately, but pressing escape will close that menu. Pressing escape again will close the full menu. It's just like if I were in here and I wanted to use this, I can press escape and escape, right? So that's all functioning nicely. I also, if you look here, I set the water to be slightly transparent. It kind of removes the ability to see the triangles, but it also makes it so you can see through like this, and that I think looks really freaking cool. Now my biggest problem is this. If I get underneath it, you can see the world. So I'm going to have to put a collider and like just guesstimate like a collider so you can't run past this point or something. But even still, that's like really deep. Yeah, I really like how the water looks now. I'm thinking now that we have that, we can also animate like fish and stuff in it. Outside of saying put back faces on. What I would do is just if the camera's underneath water, just put like a blue fog in the game, kind of thing. And yes, it is a pretty big tide. That's still a point. The idea is it's supposed to be like you can't get in because it's a strong tide. You can even see it's going up to like the grass here. See, I think I'm not really going to worry about the water just yet. Not really sure if it's going to need it to be swimmable later on or not. But it's kind of cool. Like I do enjoy just running around the world that I've made. And then when you get to areas that you didn't plan, like I've planned how this area looks. If I just pause real quick, get it off 2D. So I know how this area looks, right? Because this is what I've worked on. But back here and over here, like those aren't things that I have actually worked or really bothered to see what they look like, right? So there's the areas you're not supposed to go to. So it is always fun to run into those areas. So like over here, let's get my mouse. So you can see like, just run out, there we go. There we go. So you see stuff like this, it's just like, this is bizarre looking. But also gives me an idea for like if I want to make like a giant cave entrance, I could really make it big and that would make it look really cool, right? Open streaming 2 windows on 2 screens to get full screen video and chat. That's great. Alright. Or for example, if I run go over here where I'm not supposed to be able to go, you can already tell it kind of feels like a cave. Right, for it, it's not that area, it's more in this part. What was it? So yeah, like stuff like this, right? It's just like, oh, this is bizarre. I didn't expect this to be a thing, but it is. I don't think I can make that jump. Definitely not. Actually, wait, I can just... No, I can't run across. That doesn't work. Like, I can go through this, but that's about it. Random decline? Alright. But even like this, like these giant rocks here, like this looks like it can be part of something, even though it's currently part of nothing. It's interesting how if I'm here... Uh-oh, we had a problem. Look, if I'm here, and I press open it again... Oh no, it's still aiming the right one. My phone's making some noises. What is this? Did my stream die or something? Thought for a second my stream died. Kinda scared me. Hello Jessica, how you doing today? I'm doing pretty good. What is this here? Don't tell me that. Elemental was healed. Yeah, so I like how this all works. He's already been, so to say you can't revive him on poison. And I also notice I've used all my health pots, so now this is the first time is a mana pot. I used an unburn once, that's gone, and this, so the number got decreased. Which is kind of cool. So the next one, or next part of the menu I think I need to get working. We can't do this till combat is a thing, right? So if I click it, it's just going to say, you must be in combat with a wild creature, use this. The text is probably a little bit bigger than it needs to be fair. So what I need to do now, I want this section to work. Like the spells you can use outside of the world, right? Excuse me. But I also want to get in, if we go to our inventory, I want to actually get the items in, because right now I just have this. So if you look here, I have all of the potions now in the game. Those are all my different potions. Those are done. I have the spells in the game, but they don't do anything yet. This just says spell 1, spell 2, spell 3, 4, right, 5. Bodwin's asking how long it took. A few months, really. If you know a different language, it's not hard to learn C#. You know JavaScript, so you're already mostly there. PHP is a little bit different. I do miss PHP though. I like PHP, especially the double cache sign. That's my favorite part about PHP. Saves you a lot of time when you want to get like a form stored. Okay, I gotta close some panels here. Alright. Next thing I need to look at is this. So out of my entire menu, this is all that I've actually done. I have these in the actual database, and these actually are functional. They have no icons. These won't take too long to actually set up. To weaker elementals, increase the speed, increase the MR. I might actually do the items now instead of doing this just yet. I was thinking of doing like the exploding rock. modeling wise, I kind of always practiced like here and there for years upon years, and then it wasn't until really like a few months before I created my YouTube channel that I started practicing, and then I took a another 9 month break just recently. So I don't know. All in all, maybe a few years worth, maybe. Okay. I'm debating. Do I want to code this right now? Or do I want to code this? And it's not just code. This has some animation involved. Okay, we'll work on this part now. The essences. So that kind of means we need a controller basically to tell us if the player is within a zone that allows the usage of one of these, right? And they're not essences I'm talking about. I'm talking about spells, these. Okay. So to do this, I'm going to create an empty. And this is just going to be the spells manager. And it's going to handle if you can use a spell or not. I guess I can give it a tag. Add tag. Spell manager. Or spells manager, sure. It's the only plural one though. I should probably stay with convention and just make it singular. Alright, so I've given it a tag spell manager so I can easily find it with my other scripts. It's kind of neat. Now I'm also going to just... Okay, it is already zeroed out, so I don't have to change that. Let's give this a new script. You also notice one thing I like to do is, if you look at my scripts, I've changed the actual icons. So like all my fancy effects are going to be this little wizard icon. You can change it just by clicking up here, choosing other, and then setting it to anything really. And then all my combat scripts are going to have swords, my dialogue script, or all my... databases are just going to be a circle. My player scripts are going to be the arrow. So these are both player things. These are my databases, right? So it makes it easier for me to look at. So when I go in inventory, I know, okay, so here's my database one, here's the player one. There'll be an enemy one, so I'll have a nice enemy icon. Makes it really easy, so I don't have to read, I can just click off memory. But let's now do... I guess I can make a player folder. I haven't really done that yet. But that won't make sense. No. We're going to put this here for now. Let's just create a script. And we're going to call this spell manager. And we'll put it on our spell manager, if it lets me. There we go. So we're going to need an enum, and I know that off the bat. And for those of you that don't know, an enum is basically, instead of just setting values to like 0 and to 10, let's say, I can create a name to represent 0 and a name to represent 1, name to represent 2. It's very, very handy, very visual. And we're going to call this... oh, it's going to need to be a list of available spells, just in case you can do a couple things, right? Okay. So first we'll just make the enum, which is avail spells. Alright. Now this is... Let's... where is my Google page? These are the spells. Okay. So I'm just going to say for these, we're going to have break, rock. What's the next spell? Break, illusion, fly, illuminate, strength, waterfall. Okay. Mr. K, I'm not sure if you're making fun of my description of an enum, because it probably wasn't the best. But yeah, basically this is now a 0, that's a 1, that's a 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now once you've created this enum, you actually have to now create a variable of that. So it's sort of like the same thing of me saying like public spell manager or public elemental database, right? veil spells. And we're just going to call this avail spells with a lowercase a. Yes, I was making fun of you. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really the best at explaining things sometimes, I guess. I don't know. Sad life. Okay, so we now have a list of available spells here. But or not a list. We only have one option. So if you go here, cannot save. I don't think I saved. Show up. There it is. So it's showing we can have one of these available spells, right? But we want to be able to have a list of them. Meaning, say we're in a poorly lit room with a waterfall, a rock that can be pushed, and a rock that we get broken, right? And we just happen to be in range of all those colliders. We want to be able to choose from that list of options. So we need to make this a list. So to do that, we just say list of available spells equals new list. New list of available spells. And you gotta close it with these nice brackets. So now if we go here, this will change to a 0. So I can say, okay, 1. So we can break a rock, right? I can put this at 2. We can also fly. 3. We can use strength, right? So I want this to be static. I don't think I need to actually attach this to anything. This could probably be static. Public static list, public static enum. No, I'll leave it on. I'm trying not to use static variables often. But I will close all of these. So this is all the script needs for now, just to figure out. Now let's go back to our scenes. I'm going to hit apply on both of these first. Apply, apply, scenes, testing room. Holy shiz. Oh, this is everything in today. Oh, that's probably problemsome, right? Look at how bright this all looks. Why is this so bright, but the other scene was so dark? Does that make any sense? Interesting. I think it's because the other one didn't have a light. I don't know. But this is extremely bright over here. Why would that be the case? Let's throw 3-2 in here real quick. Oh shit. Okay, it's not what I meant to do. 3-2. The world is basically just going to be 20 of these squares. This is the first square. It'll get more and more compact, and then obviously like caves take you a while to get through, and they'd be separate scenes and such. Okay. I don't know why that lighting would change so much, but whatever. That's just really weird. Maybe because of this box underneath? That shouldn't change it though. Yeah, I don't know why this is so bright. Maybe my free look camera link needs to be reverted. Let's hit revert and let's make the camera target again. No, it's just ridiculously bright. What are these settings? 0.1, 0.55, 1, and 1. And if I went to here, and I threw my player in and looked at these. Oh, this is way different, eh? That doesn't make any sense. How is that brighter? 0.1 is the threshold. Intensity of 0.55. Okay, let's increase this intensity. I increased the intensity by 0.1. Let's see how much that... That doesn't make it crazy bright though, so I don't understand. Well, it's a little odd, that's for sure. Okay. I'm just going to ignore that. So in the game manager for now, I do need to turn off its loading of scenes. We're already just going to have the scene thrown in. It does need to load the player up though, so, you know, we'll keep the player. Hello Morris Black, how are you doing today? Okay. Let's model something in Blender real quick. So we have these rocks. That's actually... What are these called? Rocks 0201? Sure, why not? I'm going to make a rock that can explode, if that makes any sense. Or not even a rock that can explode, just for now, it'll just be a rock. But am I supposed to see it anywhere here? There it is. Oh, it's these rocks. Oh well. I loaded from the wrong file. That's okay though. I don't know if I actually need to use these rocks for the explosion example. Yeah, I'm not going to be modeling it actually just yet, guys. I do apologize for that. Let's create a cube. Well, it'll be an empty first. Alright, we'll create an empty. We'll call this spell rockable. Rock. It's interesting how 000 is over here. Ay, ay, ay. Create an empty, and this will be mesh. Actually, we should probably just give it a mesh for the time being. So, I don't know. I'm gonna leave it at 111, so that way the actual object can be larger. But let's create a capsule collider, or not that at all. A sphere collider is trigger, and let's set the radius to 10. So if you are this close to this object, you can use the spell Rock Breaker, right? That's the idea. So we're gonna add. I lied. This needs to be here. Sphere collider 15. Okay. Create a folder. Organize this up with spells. Spell manager. What just happened? There we go. This will be called spell trigger. So this is going to apply for every single spell that we get in touch with. Hello Samuel, nothing's really happened just yet. I guess nothing really happens ever in my streams. We're making the trigger so that way we can actually use spells once we get to where we can use a spell. Is that Andres? Is that your name? How are you doing today? Opening up spell trigger, we can reload all. Alright. We already have another trigger script that works for dialogue, so I'm going to open that up also. And just copy and paste on trigger enter and on trigger exit. Okay. So what we want this to do is have a reference to our spell manager. So let's create a private spell manager, S manager. And then this could so be a static thing, but it's fine. S manager equals game object, nope, game object, find game object with tag, and we tagged it spell manager, not with capital P. This is going to be an RPG, yes. Dot get component spell manager. Now this doesn't work. Oh, look at that, it does work. Cool. For a second I thought I had to make it a transform, but that's fine. Oh, so interesting dilemma. What if there were two... We go back here. Let's look at our spell manager real quick. If there were, let's say, two rocks. Right? Break rock and break rock. And you move away from three rocks here. And you move away from one of these rocks. You would want to only get rid of the ability to move rock once. So what we're gonna, okay, that's section on problem. Turn this off because actually just delete this. We don't need any of that or this. Player input instancer equals, oh, okay, that's nothing. Just give me a second. I'm gonna take a sip of water. All right. We do want to make sure it is the player that is entering or exiting. So this tag here, if you guys don't know how this works, for on trigger enter, basically when you set a collider to be a trigger, like we have set up here, trigger, there we go, I hadn't actually done it, now I did. Unity has some built-in functions, methods, classes, like on trigger exit, on trigger enter, on trigger stay. First person to type 1 in a chat wins a prize. I'm not saying that, that's what Silver One said. I don't actually have any prizes to give. But yeah, so when you enter it, then you can say, okay, we need to know what entered, so we create a collider and we say ether. So ether now becomes whatever the object that entered is. So we can then check the tag of that object to see if it's player. If it is, we'll do something. If not, we just don't do anything, or we could say if it's an enemy, do something. If it's whatever, do something else. Now, I'm going to press the play ad button because it's time for ad roulette. We've reached almost 40 minutes here and we were supposed to do one, well, 20 minutes ago. So, we all know the rules. 34 people watching. If you get the ad, tell us what it was. I'm not surprised that it's always Wix or Grammarly now because I realize I'm partnered with Curse and I guess they just don't have that many advertisers. I don't know. But they do a good job, so yeah. Drum roll, please. I'm also going to say on Twitter. I should probably say that my stream is live, eh? Oh, I didn't even give any tags, so that's fine. I'll survive. Yeah, there's also a lot of that affinity. I got an edible condom. Slow. This is great. I'm nearing 400 followers on Twitter, which is kind of cool. At 389 right now. And we're nearing 10,000 followers on YouTube also, which is kind of cool. Okay, so if the other is the player, we're now going to add to the list of spell manager. So spell manager dot, what did we call it? What did we call it? Okay, we can close entity input. We can close dialog list. We can close the database, player inventory, and dialog trigger. Those don't need to be opened. Where's my spell manager scripture? Why is it not? Whoops. Oh, because I moved it. That's right. Okay, so we called it avail spells. Avail spells dot add spell manager dot avail spells dot whatever. Okay, I'm just gonna put break illusion for now, but obviously we don't want this to only break illusion. We want this to work for everything. So we're gonna tell this object that we are one of these options. So public, whoops, sparse texture. I don't know what that is. I always put my publics at the top before a private. I don't know why. Spell manager dot avail spells. Okay. Then we need to give it a name. This. I'll just call it avail spell with an underscore, I guess. Or just avail spell. And then we don't need to write all this. We can literally just write avail spells, right? And now I don't know if I can say remove. What is remove option of? Okay, let's just try it. That looks like it's working so far. Okay. So let's have this with a list of nothing. I think what's going to happen is we'll get rid of all of the available spells, which is not what I want. I'm going to have to loop through and specifically remove them. Let's do something like this. Hello Augustin, how you doing today? Hello Hyden. Hello Richard, how you guys doing today? Okay, so if we take maximize and play off for a second. Spell manager right now is 0. Okay, now it says I can break a rock. Now I can break 2 rocks. Now I can break 1, now I can break none. 1. Oh, look at that, it worked perfectly. Holy moly. So now I can cast the spell twice. I can cast the spell once, still cast the spell once, can't cast the spell at all. Right? That worked way too easily. I'm actually really happy with that. So, with that in mind, we can now close spell trigger. We don't need update ever. Player leaves. I guess I could give these nice. You know what? I'm gonna put here. Player enters or leaves zone. There we go. Make it nice and commented. Something like that. Cool. Close this. So now what we need to do is, in the main menu, we need a reference to spell manager. Private spell manager, S manager. It's such a long S manager equals game object dot find game object with tag spell manager dot get component spell manager. I'm doing pretty good today, Flex. How are you doing? Okay. So now we have a reference to the spell manager in our actual menu system itself. What we need to do here is when the player wants to use a spell, it needs to check that spell manager if that list of options is available. So when we're clicking, this is what's happening. It looks probably really hard to look at. You can zoom out, it's not that bad of a loop. But basically, if we're in combat, these are our options that we're allowed to do. If you tried to press spells, specials, or items, or options, it's just going to say not allowed during combat. If you tried to use a potion, it's going to do the try potion thing. If you tried to use an essence, it's going to tell you if you're doing it, if you're affecting a person or if it's a wild creature. And then I haven't actually done if it's a wild creature yet, so it's just a debug. And I haven't done so you can actually switch elementals yet, which wouldn't be hard to do. I should probably make that one work also. Oh, thanks, Flex. I was gonna say I hope we can reach 60 viewers today, like concurrently, but we're kind of bouncing around 30, 35, so I was reaching a little high. Reaching a little high, that's for sure. Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed. My rock climbing membership expires tomorrow, and they're expensive. Luckily, I can get another 1 month membership, and this time get the belay course, and it's cheaper. But still, rock climbing is a very expensive hobby. It's really good for me though. Like my arms are getting bigger, everything's getting stronger. But anyways, back to this. So, if we try to use a potion, we have something called try potions, right? Because that's the one that we've done. If we use an item, it's going to bring up our yes/no options. If we use a spell, it's also going to bring up our yes/no options. Now, when we do this, we also need to set our counter movement type. Movement type is yes/no, and panel is still spells, so we don't have to actually set anything there. Never mind. It's probably because it's the middle of the week. Probably get double. Actually, interestingly enough, Logan, I do a lot better on Mondays to Wednesdays than I do on, say, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think it's because I'm not entertaining enough, and they go watch like entertaining people. I don't know. Who knows? Okay, so spells is bringing up the yes/no panel, and we know we're on spells. So if yes/no was clicked, right? The logic on this is we've now brought up the panel, which has changed our movement type to be yes/no. So then if we click again, remember these are on clicks, it's going to say, okay, we're in yes/no, do yes/no was clicked. So yes/no was clicked is down here. If confirm counter equals 1, that means we didn't click. Else if it's 0, that means we did something. Now we need to tell what we did. So if active, or something with panel, right? Current panel is equal to panel options dot spells. Then we're going to say debug.log use the spell. It doesn't really matter how I've set up the rest of this, as long as you can follow from where we are here, which is basically just saying if our panel is spells and we've clicked yes, we're going to use the spell. So if we go back here, where's my Xbox controller? There it is. Hello, Smiley HD. I'm glad I'm a motivation for you. Okay. So I'm so sidetracked trying to figure this out right now. So if I use this, it should say, use the spell. Didn't. Why didn't it? Did I not save again? Is that a thing? I didn't save. This keeps happening. It's like the 3rd time in the stream that I managed not to save. What time is it over there in Denmark right now? Boom. Use the spell. Now if I were to click over here, or like on, that's an error, I gotta fix that also. Okay, we need to make sure that we can only click if we have an actual item, right? So if we click we're not in combat, if current panel equals this, blah blah blah, if equals this. We just need to do a check in here that just says if vertical counter is greater than 0, I think it's 0 that I want. It might be equals like -1, but not really sure. 6:49. Wow. Yeah, it's only about 1 p.m. here. Let's put this back in spells for a second. Or no, we need, it's in items right now that we have none. So let's just do this. If it's greater than 0, we're going to say use. Right? If spell is greater than 0, use. If this. I'm just going to say confirm instead. Actually, this one's always going to work because options are always going to have options. There's never at any point where you have none. But these other things you can have 0 to begin with. So I think I saved, hopefully. Okay, so yeah, there we go. Clicking here does nothing now. But it might have broken it. So if I were to quickly press escape, if I went back into my inventory manager and just said I had an item, one item, will that work still? Yeah, see, I can't do it with one item. I would need 2. Right, as annoying as that is. Oh, it needs to be the max, that's why. I set it to vertical counter, but this needs to be vertical counter max. Like so. I reside over in Canada. That didn't work. Or it did work, but let's see if it works for 1. Nope. Let's see if I have 2. Yeah, so it needs to be a -1, that's all. As annoying as that is. So it's greater than or equal to 0. Zero means we have 1. Right, because it's 0 indexed. 0 indexing to me is always a pain in the butt. I feel like it all started way back when computers were first being designed. The one guy decided to start at 0 and he could have started at 1. He was just too lazy to press a +1 on his little keyboard that he made or whatever. Goddamn. And ever since then, everything's been built off 0 indexing. That's just my theory. Could be completely bullshit. Who knows? Okay. So, if a spell is being used, we're going to go to the spell manager and we're going to say what spell has been used, because I don't want to keep working on this main menu script. I want to break it up. So let's go to S manager and we're going to say cast spell and we're going to hand through something. I just don't know what just yet. So let's create a public void cast spell. Okay, now these spell names are probably literally silly, but the index is the offset from the pointer to the beginning of the array. Yeah, see, I just don't understand the whole point. I just don't understand it. I don't know, whatever. I just go with it. So we're going to cast a spell. We need to know what spell is being cast. So we need our... Go over here. If we go to spells, we need the index of the item, of the vertical counter, right? So if I just wrote, I'm going to run the opposite screen just for a second here. And I got to close this little panel. P inventory, P inventory, dot spells, vertical counter, I think it's supposed to be this way, vertical counter, dot index. Okay, we're going to rename this to something like int spell index equals this. Okay. And then we can pass this through. So that gives us the spell index. I did bend, guys. So the 6 spell is going to be the ability just to spread like a waterfall kind of thing. That way it'll reveal like a hidden passage behind a cave. I think that might be cool. We can always change it. It's no big deal. Okay. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our spell index should match up exactly with this avail spells. If we look at our not spell manager, our what is it? Inventory manager spells. Oh, they're not. We have illusion. Okay, let's put it in the right order. So break illusion, break rock, illuminate. Then we have fly. Then we have strength and waterfall. Okay, so it's like that. So we're gonna say public available spells, avail spells, and we'll say spell being cast. Okay, so this spell being cast is going to equal available spells. How do I do this again? Put this way, and then write spell index. There we go. So we have taken a number, which is our integer, and we've set it to match one of these. So we know now that if it's a 1, we're using break illusion. If it's a 2, we're using break rock. If it's a 3, if it's a 0, we're using break illusion. If it's a 1, break rock. 2, illuminate. 3, 4, and 5. So we have this, and now what we need to do is check if it can be used. So this is actually going to return a bool. It's going to give me an error until I say return true or false. And I like to always write at the bottom return false, which is basically if we've made it to the bottom, it means we clearly weren't able to do something. So if we also look back in our main menu, we can now set this to bool castable equals this. So then if castable, do something else, we're going to say it's not reset confirm dialog, it's the error dialog I want. Show error dialog. And we're just going to say cannot cast this spell, right? Cannot cast this spell here. I have an error. Cannot convert. Did I not save? I didn't save. There we go. So right now if I try to use any of these spells, it's going to say cannot cast this spell. Use. Cannot cast this spell here. Use. Cannot cast this spell here. Use. Cannot cast this spell here. The one thing I noticed is that it constantly resets my counter to 0, which it's a little bit of a bug. I can fix it at any point, really. I'm going to ignore it for now. Alright guys, it's that time again. Quick round of ad roulette. Even though there's only 29 of us, it's probably going to play for like maybe one person. Let's see how many it plays for. I'm actually curious. If you got an ad, let me know. And we can see roughly how many of 30 people see an ad whenever I press play ad. So, who's the unlucky soul? Let's find out. Okay, the next thing we need to change. Okay, so one person has an ad so far. Wolf or Orion? Wolf Orion, that would make sense. Could be Orion though. Could also be like Oreo N. Alright, 1 out of every 30. Oh, 2 out of every 30. 3. 4. Thanks, Jason Kennedy. So 4 out of 30 people. That's the number we're looking at. That's it for ad roulette. I was hoping there'd be like 30% of people get like unlucky, but yeah, you know, can't complain. Alright, so now that we know what spell is being cast, we can then just check our available spells if we actually have one. If so, then we can return true, saying, alright, we can cast a spell, right? So, to do that, we're going to say, I can do a for each loop. I don't like for each loops though, so I'm actually instead do a for loop. And I was told if you press tab twice, this appears, which is kind of cool. I want to change this to an H. I want to set it to say less than avail spells dot count. H plus plus. Look at that, it looks so nice. 5 people. Are there going to be Easter eggs? Oh, there will be, Flex. There will be a lot of Easter eggs. That is for sure. What are you guys working on today? If you got any, what are you guys up to today? Tell me your plans. Let's have a discussion while I figure this out. So right now we're going to say, well, this is less than the total count. Now count, I don't believe is 0 indexed. So this is good that it's less than. And then we can say if avail spells H is equal to spell being cast, then we can return true, and we can also say, I don't know, cast a spell, whatever it is, right? Right now it's just going to say debug.log, boom. And then over in my main menu, I actually just want to close the menu. So I want to say toggle menu. Right? So if I use a spell, we want to close the menu. So the Gym Universe is trying to fix his chair. Oh man, my chair is breaking down. I'll explain once I finish reading these comments though. Testing multiple web service endpoints to make sure a new process doesn't break them. Multiple web service endpoints. Jason, everything you do seems so technical, it's like well beyond my scope. It's very impressive. Smiley HD says, working on a Resident Evil 7 inspired low poly horror game. That's amazing. Logan, I'm going to my grandparents to take care of their ducks while they're away for the next few days. They own ducks. I didn't know you can own a duck. It's kind of cool. Hello, Final XXX. We are working on the ability to use spells. So right now we can't cast them, which is fine. But if we go over to that one rock, we should be able to cast the rock spell. So from over here, I should be able to cast this. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I had a problem. Did I not save? I saved everything. My spell index is like so. So we have the index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Spells. Okay. Yeah, my chair's actually broken. If I lean forward, it like snaps forward, so I always have to lean back in it. And yeah, the raising the height doesn't actually stay, so it's always at the lowest now. And the right handle is torn away, kind of, so it always hurts my hand every time I put my right hand down, which I always put my right hand down. So this didn't work for some reason. Why? So the current panel was spells, but it gave me this instead. So if we go here, for H is 0, H is less than available spells. Avail spells.count. And right now, if we look at our spell manager, it says we have break illusion. Oh, that's why. I didn't notice. The break illusion will work. Let's see. I don't really consider myself like personally first world because I make no money. Alright, so now if I were to do this, there we go. So it's going to do boom. So basically what would happen is we would then tell the player to do an animation, and we tell this object to implode. That's kind of fun. You can actually really easily jump on that, eh? Oh, maybe not. It's a little bit of a struggle. That's great. I need some water. Okay, just give me a second, guys. I drank all my water, so I'm gonna go quickly run and get some. I'll leave this screen on so you can just stare at it, I suppose. Where should I look? I don't know. I'll look over there. Nothing really important. BRB. Okay, I'm back. Gonna rip a piece of gum here. So, we now have it that, like, boom is said, which is good. And it works for all the different spells, which is kind of cool, using these loops that we've done. It returns false, it's just saying you can't cast the spell, which is fine. Jason Candy saying, if you want to stop the climbing on the mountains, change the slope limit of a character controller. I could do that. I'm just gonna actually I don't want the player to go on the mountains, and I don't really then need them to be a mesh collider there. So I'm just gonna separate the mountains as they are, and just put a box collider kind of thing. That way they can't climb it. And then it's also better for performance. So this is actually going to cast a spell, but we then need here to not let the player move. Is there like a can move variable in my player script? There is a can move. Excuse me. But I think I need like a casting spell thing. I don't know. Like, it's cool that we can do the spell part, but we need to actually make it now so that the spell channeling takes over, right? So that means we're gonna need, I guess I could separate this and just go down here and do the casting of the spell, or I can make a separate script. I could do that. Spell manager, cast spell. If this is true, we're then going to get I should give it some kind of name, right? So we need to create a C# script, and we're going to call this spell casting. Or just spell cast, I guess. Let's open this up. Reload all. Save. Okay. Does this need to be static, maybe? Invisible walls. I like that, that's funny. Okay, item actions can be closed for the time being. Combat manager can also be closed. Inventory database, main menu stay open. Player elementals can be closed for the time being. Game manager can be closed. Yeah, alright, we'll just create another reference. Private, spellcast, spellcast. if we cast a spell, actually I guess we don't even call it there. Yeah, screw it. Spell cast equals, I guess I'll put this on the manager as well. So I'll just say get component spellcast. And because of that, I'm going to tell this to require component type of spellcast. So this script will only work if it's applied with this script. Now because I have this on to begin with, it won't put it there, right? But if I remove this, and then I add spell manager, you'll notice it also adds spellcast, which is kind of cool. I kind of want to give this a different item, or an image, but I don't really have any good images to give them just yet. Right? I need one that like means... Oh, there's a camera image, isn't there? There we go. I'll use that. Because it's supposed to be sort of like a cutscene kind of feel, right? After doing and redoing my 4 skill systems on my project, I can tell you the way to go is with scriptable objects and class inheritance. Just saying. Scriptable objects and class inheritance does work really well, just not my preference. I prefer just lists. It's simple. Very simple. Okay, so spellcast is going to need some interesting things. And first it's going to need the entity input, player input. Okay, so this is going to be equals game object, find game object with tag, player, get component, entity input. If you guys have noticed, I've written this a bunch of times. Basically, it's just saying look for a game object that's on the tag player and get that component, which is entity input. Hello, Blue Wolf. How you doing today? So spell manager is then going to need to spellcast. I wonder if I can actually, let me just put this right here. I wonder if this will break. Does that break? It does. Okay. I don't need to make this a variable. I could just say this dot cast spell, and we're gonna pass in the spell being cast. Now we're getting errors right now because there is no cast spell in spellcast, so we're gonna create that public void cast spell, and we're going to take in avail spell manager dot available spells. The spell. I'll just call it spell. We don't need to say the spell. There we go. And this should also no longer be broken. Cool. Cut this out. Do I want to do this here, though? I think I do. I'm going to say player input dot casting spell equals true. In entity input, we're going to create a new variable. So, what do we have here? Interact with objects. Instance or not a menu. Header, menu, variables, header, spell, variables. Okay. And in here, I'm going to want a public bool casting spell equals false. Okay. So if we're casting a spell, I don't want any of this to basically be running. Oh. Don't tell me that. No. I just uninstalled League of Legends because I spend too much time in it. And I don't lose though, so when I play ranked, it's just basically been like a big win fest. And my character supposedly is also getting a buff. Okay. Why don't you use singletons? So I could use singletons, but this scene, game scene, is only ever going to spawn once, and it holds everything. Okay. Sorry, I was just sending some messages there. This is my train of thought here. If we're casting a spell, we don't want any of this to work. Right, so we don't want to constantly be setting this. Yeah, so singleton, that's what I'm saying. I could have used a singleton and made sure that when a new scene loads, it'll make sure it doesn't instance another thing. But there's no point because that scene is only ever loaded once and that stores it all. Alright, I gotta put my phone away. So we need to say in here, if not casting a spell, because we don't want to constantly be in state 1, we want the spell cast to handle the player's animation, right? So that's off. We also then... Actually, you know what, we can just put this. Just right here. So you just literally stop everything. Huh. It's a weird way to do that. Okay, wait, this is like this. And this should be like this. Have I considered unit testing? What do you mean by unit testing? Okay, so we're not casting a spell, we can do all this stuff, right? That should instantly stop everything, right? I think that's what I needed to do. So when I'm casting a spell, it's going to set this to true, and I should no longer be able to move. Shouldn't even be able to press start. Excuse me. So right now if I try to cast a spell, it should say you can't. Okay. But if I went over here... Okay, so I can't move, I can rotate the camera, and I can't press start. There you go, look at that. What a beaut. Unit testing is the methodology to test each class set / method for expected behavior. It is part of test-driven design. Isn't that sort of... kind of what I do? Kind of, because I'm testing to see if it's working or not. So Malachi, the idea is once you unlock that spell, you can destroy certain rocks that'll reveal areas behind it. We don't actually have the rock model yet, but we're just getting the functionality out. So basically, you can cast a spell. There you go. It makes it so you can't move. Now, if we're casting a spell, we're also going to want to say here that we're casting a spell, right? So let's create a bool. casting equals false. SC equals true. This could also be a toggle, realistically. If I want it, I can just say toggle spell, so toggle's on or off. But then I constantly have to pass this through, so I'm going to leave it separately just for the time being. Oh, so yeah, that's originally, if you look in my item action script, I might have deleted it by now, but let's see. Is it gone? Yeah, I deleted it. But basically, okay, yeah, so there's a difference between iterative testing. Interesting, did not know. I prefer iterative testing then, because I do like seeing the actual progress, but what I had done originally with this was if I would just press like the letter Y, it would simulate what should happen if we were healing a Pokemon, right? So I pressed Y to see if the heal worked, and it did. Then I created all of the actual UI, and then over here just made it so this did what that code was before, like I'd saved it, right? But personally I found this a lot better. We're actually going to see it happening on screen. So yeah, I guess I'm an iterative tester. The bear, this is Hyden. The bear, let's start a new meme with him. Oh god. Yeah, no, I'm definitely down for iterative testing. I think it makes a lot more sense too, because then, like I found when I did do this, so that all the healing worked, like I was like, okay, that's cool that I did this, but it's useless to me, and I've done a lot of extra writing that I'm just gonna have to delete, so, or just not use kind of thing. Okay. Use potion inventory, consume item. Okay, we don't need the spell manager open anymore because we're breaking it out to a separate script, which is here. We're casting a spell. So we're gonna need the animator of the player. So animator, panim. And we're going to say panim equals player input dot get component animator. I don't know if the actual animator is on the root here or if it's one of the children. Where's the player? Player, local. Yeah, no, it's a child. So it's C main. Okay. So player input dot transform dot find C main dot get component animator. There we go. Easy enough. We're gonna need to create a channel animation. For the time being, I guess I can just do it on like a timer. Or I can just ignore this until I've done that animation. So let's just write in here. Number 1, do the animation. Number 2, change the world accordingly. Number 3, allow player inputs. Allow player inputs. That's what I have to do still for casting spells. I am, however, going to do another quick round of ad roulette. So everybody who doesn't know the rules, it's pretty simple. I'm just going to press play ad. Whatever unlucky soul gets the ad, just tell us what it was, and then we get to kind of chuckle at you for having to watch an ad. I don't know. It's not really chuckle at you. It's more so just to support me. So, boom. What I'm tempted to do I'm going to add the items to my database first. So let's close all these nasty looking things. hemorrhoids ad? That's great. Okay, we have all our essence inside. Let's actually add these. There's a lot of HVAC ads. It's really surprising to me. So this is our list showing how far we've gotten with this. We haven't fully, we haven't fully finished these. So I'm gonna put them in like yellow to know that we started them, right? Now we're just gonna name these, right? So we gotta come up with, better word for stat buff. But basically it's going to be an item that increases the AD of your elemental permanently. I noticed there's a few things I was missing with my elementals, like the fact that they don't have levels. I haven't given them levels yet. Forgot that one vital piece of information. Critical strike, I hadn't put that in. And I haven't put in a counter to show how many stat buffs they've used. So I will add those soon. But for now, let's get these in and we'll think of the names. So somebody needs to, not somebody, but the chat should just start spamming me with words that could mean stat buff in some sort of way. I'm going to put these in while we figure that out. So, put this to 0 for a second. Okay, put this to 1. Alright, the first item, Elementus Walk. And that could be maxed out at 32. Status, essence, spell, key item. I need another option here, which is just item. Right now it's hot as shit. That's probably why I'm getting the HVAC ads. That's great. Item. Okay. It is consumable, and we're gonna give a description of walk through weaker elementals. Elementals. Avoid combat. That might be too long of a title. Let's just test it right now, I guess. Yeah. How about that? Walk through elementals. It's still... probably I'm going to make these icons bigger anyways. It's probably not that big of a... Because I've noticed I don't even have as many as I thought I would. I literally have 12 and 15. So I can make them a lot longer. Maybe long enough for a third row. So I can probably ignore that for now. I'll ignore that it gets cut off. Okay. So now that we have this, let's set that to 2. And this should be the exact same, but instead... it'll be a strong Elementus walk. That's definitely not going to fit for the title. Oh, that's decent enough. I don't mind if it covers the icons. Okay. Maybe I can just say avoids combat. For like 5 minutes. For like 1 minute. For 1 minute. Right, and then this could say avoids wild combat for 5 minutes. So does anybody have a better way to say stat buff? I'm still stuck on that. I'm not really sure. Those both need to be stackable. Action amount. This will be 0, this will be 1. escape rope. I probably can't call it that either. Lifeline? Oh, I need to also index these. Well, it needs like a better name. Just could be like something at random. Like I believe in Pokemon they have like calcium, zinc, iron. Like those are things that mean to like buff different stats. Okay. Lifeline 2, and this is gonna say escape the current cave. And this is also a 2. Alright, next. Hello, Winterwolf. How you doing today? So stat modifier, basically like an item that's just going to permanently increase one of their stats. So either AD, AP, armor, health, magic resist, speed. And in Pokemon, they use things like calcium, iron, and zinc to represent that. So we need to come up with stuff like that. Some kind of like elemental sounding names. Knight's Vow. 0, 1, 2, and this is 3. Prevents stat reductions in battle. Oh, that's terrible. That would be a potion. Shite. Why not just have a skill tree for each Pokemon instead? Because you want your game to be original. I have no idea what you mean by skill tree right now. They all will follow their own patterns of what they learn and abilities and such. There you go, Yuckwa. We'll use different kinds of gems. I like that. Now this Knight's Vow is a little bit of a mistake because this should be a potion. But I'm gonna remove it for now. Just deletes it. I've never seen hex art. What's hex art? Looks a lot like the stuff that I make. Interesting. Interesting. Oh, and he started posting 2 years ago. Wow. Oh, but he just started posting again. Look at that. Yeah, no, never heard of him before. I'll follow him. Why not? Hitler could modify your health. Oh god, I'll avoid that. Definitely gonna avoid that. So you can tell sometimes when I slow down, because I've actually been working on this since 7 a.m. So my brain right now is like, man, struggling. I'm just, oops, trying to make this green, but I keep missing the green button somehow. Mates file has been removed, so I'm just gonna make this all red. Okay, so the stat buffs, we need different kinds of... Here, let's look up elemental gems. Is that a thing? Well, they can't be named after the different elements. That doesn't work. Vitality. Yeah, so the thing is, they can't be... So, okay. In the game, there's 4 types of elementals, which are fire, earth, water, and air, right? So I need these stat buffs. They could be a gem, but they wouldn't be like a water gem or a ruby gem. I can just call them stones. They can be some kind of stone. Sleepy, grumpy. Well, what are the 7 virtues? And what are the virtues? Are there not just 7? Yeah, 7 virtues. Heavenly virtues combined with 4 classical cardinal virtues: prejudice, justice, temperance, and courage, with the 3 theological: faith, hope, charity. So I can just say like a courage stone, temperance stone, justice stone, prudence stone, faith stone, hope stone, charity stone. It's not the greatest. 7 deadly sins, yeah. I could then just back this up with a random spell generator. I was using, I don't know, let's use this one. Lance of Prejudice. Woo! Have them be small crystal shards and have larger versions for bigger stat boosters. So, I don't think that I would do sizes, because I want to limit the amount of times you can just use a shard, and that just adds a little bit of complexity that I want to avoid. This has been also done, so we can make this one green. We're almost done the majority of this, which is nice. What exactly will they do? So one is going to permanently increase one of your elementals' AP, one's going to increase its AD, one's going to increase its armor, right? You can only use 10 of these stat buff things on your creatures. We need some good names. I might just come with some silly names like from this generator, like 9 callings of... these are kind of like disgusting names. Elaborate. Ghostly conjuring of seek undead. Ghostly spell of control root. Okay, those elaborate ones are terrible. There's a better generator. There's like a Harry Potter one, wasn't there? What's this? I clicked this one. Is this gonna be... Oh, it's down here. There we go. So we can say like a Soam shard. Maybe I'll just do that. Just make sure these aren't real words. Okay, it doesn't look like it's a bad word. Because one of them was an Urban Dictionary and ended up being the N word, so I was like, oh, well, let's not get in trouble for that. Alright, so a Soem shard. Boom. The Chinese elements could be cool. What are the Chinese elements? Metal, wood, water, fire, earth. Wait. Earth, metal. Metal is their own element, eh? That's cool. What are the Greek elements? Fire? Earth, well obviously, yeah, but what's the... Guess I don't really think that through, eh? Huh. Points names, what? Actually... Alright, yeah, we'll go with this. And this will be a Praetori shard. I don't know, these are random names, but whatever. I don't mind. You know, it's alright. What are Northic elements? You mean like Nordic elements? Yeah, Nordic? That's not what I was looking up. Oh well. Random generator. Let's get some more here. Clarius. That could be like magic resist. A Clarius shard. Mendirio. That sounds like mending, so I'm gonna say that's an armor kind of word. Mobium. Mobium shard. Augmentism. I wonder what that does. Augmentism shard. Augment something. And we need one more. We need a health one. What looks like health? Defendita. What was armor? Armor is Mendi. Okay, you know what? Let's make this there, and then let's call this one Defendata shard. Whoa! There we go. Those are our little shards. Zoom this in. Okay, I'm gonna make them green now because they're gonna take like 2 seconds to put in. So let's just flip them green. Whoops. Green. And close this. Thank you, fan-made Harry Potter thing. So let's call this. I can't type. I don't know what just happened there. 0, 1, 2, this is 3. It can be stackable. It is an item. It is a 3. Well, there'll also be stuff like artifacts, ancient weapons that can do crazy stuff like summon lightning, etc. I hadn't thought of that yet. I'm sure I can do like some sort of like augmenting things. So like if you had like a fire creature and you augment him with an item, he can shoot lightning kind of thing. I'm sure that could be a thing down the road, but it's not right now. I'm getting just a base game going. It's like nothing too out of this world just yet. Increases the AD of 1 elemental. Okay, so now that we have this shard, we can just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. So we need to add 6 to this. Let's put it 10. Okay. Rename this to Praetori shard. Set this to 4. Before I forget, I'm just going to increase these. Whoops. Okay, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, good. Keep the scope smaller, you never finish. Exactly. So like I said, I just want to make this like a basic RPG that works. Well, it's not gonna be a basic RPG, that sounds bad, but like I want to do like traditional things more so, not worry about like all the crazy zany stuff. Then if I get to a certain point where I am done, I can be like, alright, you know what, let's add to it. Okay, so I have the Praetorian Shard. Let's do this in order. So this is AD, this is AP. Actually, no, I'm gonna write instead boosts AD. That saves space. I'm all about saving space. Boosts. Okay, so the last one is boost the speed. The second last one is MR. Then mana. I'll capitalize these, doesn't really matter. Mana, this is health. Armor. AP. AD. Fun fact, most of the magic ideas we see originate in Eastern Europe and Japan. By far, some circles are the most commonly shared magical ideas between European and Asian fantasy magic. Most spell circles. That doesn't surprise me, to be honest. That doesn't surprise me at all. Okay, so now that we can close the lifeline, that's fine. Let's rename these now. So we have Defendenta Shard. Defendetta Shard? Is that how it's pronounced? Sean is saying that there's a bug with the shadow render distance. I'm not sure what shadow render distance bug you're speaking of. Hailstorm is saying, why not have all the spells, weapons, items stored in a separate text file and then have Unity convert that information? Okay, if I had it all in a separate text file, then somebody could just go in and change the spells. I personally wouldn't want that. But there are ways I could do that. Like I can serialize the information, but this is just easy enough for me. Joblums is saying ad roulette, and you are right, I missed it. So, everybody knows the rules to this game. There's going to be an ad. If you want to watch it, thank you, because that does help me a lot. If not, that's okay too. But what you should do at least is type the ad in chat, so we know that you were the unlucky soul that got stuck with the ad. And drumroll. Alright, I pressed it. Okay, so we only have 10 items. Well, 11, because it's -1, right? 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, it's 10. What am I missing? That's not right. Elementus Walk. Oh, I know what I'm missing. We need Enchanted Feather Stone. That's a really long name. I'll just call it Feather Stone, whatever. 10. Sure, it can be stackable. 10. Levels up an elemental. There we go. Okay. So, with that being done, we now have all of the items in, all the potions in, all the essences and spells in the game, and all the potions are functional. Okay, these are somewhat functional. Basically the game works to a sense where it knows if you're using a spell or not, but it doesn't really do anything if you use the spell. Hello Mauro, how are you doing today? Excuse me. We haven't done these either. That's gonna take some time. I can't do this until combat happens. So I'm ignoring this. 3-minute ad. Why is it always a pink heart? Which part of the world, basically through alchemy, was magic? Spain? Spain was very big on alchemy, which is basically the origins of science and chemistry. Okay, now we need to code it for using one of these items. Okay, let's go in here. It's not in spellcast, it's in main menu. It's after yes no was clicked. So if, else if, current panel is equal to panel options dot items, and we're just going to, I don't know how I managed to get down there. Debug.log used the item. Okay. Because if we go up to our area here, essence, items, use, cancel. Yeah, so it works. Okay. How long have I been live streaming for? Do you mean in this one stream specifically? If so, we're almost at 2 hours. If not, it'd be 2 weeks. A bit over 2 weeks now. 2 weeks in a day. 2 weeks and 2 days. Something like that. Yeah, so let's see. Did I save? Make sure I saved. Yep, okay. If I try to use an item, that should make the call there. Use. Used an item. Alright. I probably need more items than this. This doesn't really make much sense. What other kinds of items would you need? Aside from being able to avoid creatures, being able to get out of caves, I don't know, I think that's about it, really. Potions are going to be more important, but boom. It's interesting how it gave me that error again when it shouldn't have. Maybe I clicked on, I don't know. So it says this would have no effect, and if I do it again now on this one, no, it healed. Weird. I must have been on a different item without realizing. So Jason's asking, what about quest items? So yeah, that's going to go in the special item section here. So right now we have a map, which doesn't do anything. Alright, so we've broken it down. Creatures, items, potions, essences. I just totally gapped right there. Spells. I kept thinking this was spells, but this isn't. Those icons need to be changed, ignore this. But yeah, spells, special items, and options, which need to be tweaked. So like text speed right now still says confirm or cancel, sound, quick game, right? This needs to be changed a bit. Sean, I've not programmed any AI just yet, but the AI won't be difficult to do. I mean, I could do like a movement speed item that allows the player to move faster. But, once again, I guess I'll just leave it with the base items that we have now and then just add to it as we go. So I do think we have a decent amount of stuff, right? So we would have 10 things here, all these here, all that, all this. It's a decent amount so far. Mutant axe, sword, slime, tree man thing, a blob shell, and a hammer. I need life. Well, that's not a bad thing. It's good practice, right? Okay, so we know that we used an item. So we're going to go to item actions again. And we're going to say... It's going to be similar to use potion from inventory. Right? Because we're going to need... No, we don't need that. We do need this. And this. So we'll need these 3 lines. We don't need... So it's sort of similar to this, but kind of different. Then there's consume item. I could probably just change this to consume. And then I'll have to change this to consume. And basically it tries to consume the item. If it can, it does. If it can't, it doesn't. But so let's create another public static. Use item. This is from inventory also. Int item index. Actually be player item index. P item index. I spelled that wrong. And I also spelled public wrong. Not all code returns a value. What? Oh, I put bool. Oh. Do I want to be bool? Yeah, I do. So if it makes it to the bottom, it's going to return false. Right, this one also should have one return false at the bottom, that's fine. When you're finished this game, you should make wallpapers for a while. What do you... I mean, it's kind of a little bit random, but it's kind of funny. Hello, Quaternius. How you doing today? I'm doing pretty good. Where is... what's over here now? Okay. So if we use an item from inventory, we gotta call that. So from over here... Nope, from over here... If it's spells, we're going to say the spell index equals this. So we're going to do int item index equals p inventory dot items vertical counter dot index. Now we need to know... I don't know what we're going to need to return with this, so I don't know if it even needs to be a bool. Right? It could just be... Let me look at these items. I guess lifeline to know if we can, and this is a little bit tricky. If you click one of these, right, any one of these shards, it's going to need to open up the elemental panel and allow you to click it. See, if you click on one of these items... Hello, Kryluke22 ASDF. How you doing today? Kryluke? Kryluki. Carlos is saying, why not add some effects to the game? I do plan on it. I'm just trying to focus on getting the game functional. I'm trying to think. If we're using a spell, we need to know our index. Now, if our index is going to be 1, 2, or 3, we need to do something first. If it's not, we then need to do something like this, or 0, 1, 2. So, okay. we're gonna first say if vertical counter, no. We want the index. Okay, we have item index. If item index is greater than 2, then we're gonna say debug.log show elementals to use this on. Okay. The trees do move, but there's no leaves or anything like, or there's no like leaves falling and stuff like that. If it's greater than 2, else I guess I could put night's vow back in if we're doing this then, if we're doing it this way. Else debug.log skip straight to usage. Something like that. With that in mind, I will re-add night's vow. Because this is sort of similar. Prevent stat reduction for 5 minutes. Something like that. Okay. Make this green again since we're using it. I hit yellow. Okay, cool. Okay, hit apply real quick. Let's also just go into our items and say we have one item, and we have 2 of it. Okay, good. Now let's say we have 10 items. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's not all the items in the game, I don't believe, because there's one more. So I guess I can add it right now real quick. 11. Okay. So, if I clicked on this, and I hit use, it's going to say skip straight to usage. Skip straight, there we go. Now if I click on this, skip straight, it's still saying skip straight. That's not right. Use the item. Show elementals to use item. Oh, to use this one. Yeah, so that worked. Okay, so it is working. This one is skip straight. This is show. Okay. So if it's... Oh, but I did it backwards, that's why. No, I did it right. Okay. Okay. I get it. It's not going to be free to play. It's going to be a game that somebody will buy. It's going to be a full-fledged RPG, right? It's going to be slightly linear, but you can run around. Like, it's not just a straight line. Okay. When I was trying my potion, how was I doing that? I said yes was clicked, right? Okay, wait. I'm so confused. We want to... Where did I load total potion count equals this. Try potion. Set up inventory. Update vertical. No, it's before this though. So it's before try potion. And if we're using potions, we do try potion, which is different than this try potion. Okay, so player potion index equals vertical counter. We're gonna need all this real quick. That's a little bit of overkill, but we need to start to do something like this, where we set this can need to be renamed. Vertical counter max equals player elementals, panel width, set up vertical panels, update active. Okay, we're going to change this to using item, player item index. I don't know if we need that, but that's fine. Because we already got our item index here. Will it be like over the top price? Like a few dollars. Yeah, it'll be in between 10 and 20 bucks. Okay, now we need a movement type. Using item. I suppose we could just keep calling this potion. Nah. I'll just create 2 separate ones. Player potion index and then player item index. Oh wait, can I just go try potion? What's try potion do? It equals a vertical counter. Vertical counter is this. Determine panel is this. Set up vertical values. This. And m.movement type is... Okay, I'm gonna just guesstimate something here. Alright, so I'm gonna hide this, or delete this. I'm gonna call try potion. Right. Now, this might break, but let's just see. Okay, so that ended up healing. So, this isn't fully what I want. Because in this case, you just click it and it goes there. This doesn't need the yes/no panel. I haven't actually really looked at much of the Zelda game, to be honest. Okay. I do have using item as a thing. Okay, so we're gonna rename, or not rename this, but we're gonna have movement type. So we're using item. This one's gonna be using, whoops. Using potion. Okay. Oh, yeah, my brain is all over the place. So I don't want to show a yes/no dialogue on items. Unless it's less than 2, right? So when I press this, I'm actually going to call okay, void try item. I know I just changed all this. That was kind of dumb of me. This works, so I can keep that how it is. But on the try item, I'm going to actually put this here. Put this down here. Take this, put it here. So if it's greater than 2, we don't want to show a yes/no panel. There we go. Item index. We didn't set up a value for item index. I'm jumping all over the place, it would be hard to follow. So for item index equals player inventory dot items, vertical counter, then we're going to say, okay, if this index is greater than 2, we're going to want to do a try potion call, but we're actually trying an item. Kind of confusing. That does all this. Show elementals to use this on. Then we're going to script, if it isn't, we're going to say skip straight to usage, which is a yes, no. Okay. So now if yes, no was clicked, we no longer need to do this greater than 2 check because we know it's only items less than 2. So I'll just say only, oops, that's supposed to be a comment. Only includes items that required a yes or a no. Right? Now, if this is set to using items, and we then click again, we need to say else if mtype is equal to movement type dot using item. Alright guys, since we forgot to do an ad roulette once, I'm going to just make up for it by doing it now. So the rules to ad roulette are simple. If you get an ad, just tell us what it was in chat. If you want to watch it, that'd be really nice. If not, that's okay. And basically we want to see if you're the poor soul that has to watch an ad. Now, you actually have had a few people here get an ad almost every time, and I feel bad for them, but it's also really kind of funny at the same time. So, I'm going to press it in 3, in 2. I didn't even have to say 1, I just pressed it. Okay. Bests on ad? Number 4 or 5? What do you mean by bests? Got it. Ah, sorry, Hailstorm. Glad I can front humor for you. Thanks, Jason. Okay. So, if we are in the using item panel, it's going to be similar to using a potion, but not the same. So we need, let's delete some extra spaces that we have here. Maybe we can get closer to it. I'm just going to zoom out slightly. It might be hard for you guys to read for a second. I'm going to say debug.log. We want to use the item on this elemental. That should be the outcome here, right? And I should be essentially stuck in this. So if I click this, it's going to give me the option to use or cancel. Use or cancel. Now this, there we go. Now I can't move around, which is fine, but if I click, it says we want to use an item on this elemental. Progress. Okay. So the reason why I can't move around is over here. Or mtype is equal to movement type dot using item. Cool. This is what handles my left or right movement. If we're in yes no, it's only up and down movement that's allowed. Realistically, I didn't need to make this distinction, but I did now, so I'm kind of sticking with it. This script is getting really long. Hey, what are we at? 528 lines so far. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. So that's my menu navigation. I'm going to start closing things off because there's a lot to look at. Even my start is getting big. Toggle menu. Go back was pressed. Oh, wait, we do need to change something here. Else if mtype. So I'm specifically just saying where we should go back to if we press the back button. And this is just going to set it to be basic. We would need to reset the elementals and items. So we'll do setup items, or just set up inventory actually. Setup inventory does both. Setup elementals just as the elementals. I remember back in high school, I coded Pokemon Stadium in Java, and that was when I didn't understand classes, so it was just a bunch of nested ifs. So instead of like breaking it up like this, public void, 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 right? And it was about 10,000 lines of code for the whole game, one script. Woo! And it all worked. I think that's why I only got a 99 instead of 100, because my teacher saw that and was like, how in the did you manage that? Joe Bombs, I'll check Google Drive once a week, so I'll probably check it on Fridays. That way I can actually see if there's a whole bunch of new stuff or not. Okay, so this sets up the inventory. We also then need to determine the panel again and update active. So we kind of do the same thing this one does, almost similar to this, not similar to this, right? But that means we can actually back out of it nicely. So this should be closer to what we want. So if I click this, we can move through it. It'll say he wants to use an item on this elemental. I want to use an item on this elemental. I can press B and it goes back to the same panel. I am 24, turning 25. It's actually kind of funny. When I say 24, I feel like that's a really young age. But when I used to say I was 23, I always felt like I was really old. I think I'm young. Am I 25 now? No, I'm 24. I'm still 24. Yeah, I'm only 24. Can't even remember. I'm curious. If we have 44 people watching, how many have we? We've had 377 playbacks though. That means we had 377 people click on it but not stay, because they've obviously left over time, because nobody... I can't imagine everybody would want to watch for hours, right? But it's always cool to see this, right? We're slowly reaching the 45s. We might get to 60 concurrent. And then the chat rate kind of low. Total playbacks picked up real quick for some reason at 115. The average view time. So people are typically only watching for about 12 minutes. That's so sad. That's so sad. And we get any errors? Nobody had any errors. But let's hope for 50 concurrent. That's what we got to get to at least. So we just need 5 more people. Okay. Back to this. So we've gotten slightly closer. Now we need to actually do a couple things, right? Like, we need the first 2 items to do something and the second 2 items to do something. So the first 2 are going to be the easier ones to set up, so I'll do those now. And that's basically the external world stuff, right? I didn't mean to tab that way. So that's... these 2 affect something in the outer world. And I think we're going to want to put that in... maybe along the combat manager? Carlos, I did have 60 viewers, yeah. I think different days are just different popularity. There was one point where we actually hit 72. I think it's the highest I've ever had. That was last week. So I'm a little bit scared because I'm getting less and less views each stream. It's also kind of sad, but I'm making more progress on the game, so I'm not really bothered by it. Eventually the game will come out. That's the goal. Whoop. I do really like the look of this, like just seeing this, like a nice little beach. The water actually moves. Here, I can press play. It looks better when I press play. See you. But you see this, right? You can see the water. I want to turn the grid off. Is there a way to do that? Unity, hide, grid. Oh, it is 9:20 over there, eh? It's getting late. It's 2:20 here now. Where's my gizmos? I think I can hide it in my gizmos. Boom. There we go. Oh, you can get the wireframe too when you click something? Whoa, I can see the wireframes again. That's way better. I prefer that. Yeah, no, that's infinitely better. So if you go into gizmos, You can do just wireframe, you can just outline, or both. I'm definitely going to keep it on both. It's a little bit jumpy, but that's okay. Cool. There we go. So the grid's gone. Now you can see this beautiful scene. The water's definitely very wavy. It's also kind of a shame that I have to put the water out so far. What I could do is shorten it probably to be like this big, and then put just some blue squares out here. But I'll leave it like this for now. Let's make it a little bit less wavy. What if I did like 0.4, 0.3? Oh no, it's not the speed that's the problem, it's the noise strength. Is it the scale? There we go. So if I were to look at this now, how does that look? How did you fix the water? Make the mesh overlap so the movement doesn't cause broken edges. Make the meshes overlap. Sweet. Oh, yeah, so if you're asking, yeah, this water is actually just going straight through this mesh. If that's what you mean. Just walk into it. It's kind of fun, though, because you can really start to make it, you know, wavy as shit. Alright, you can make it even more crazy. Now we can make it like... But then it covers you. Look at how high up that'll go. What does that look like in the scene view? Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, so the mesh is just literally going through. If I have performance issues, I'll definitely just shrink the animated part down to like here, and then have just a couple other blue objects here that aren't doing anything. What is going on down there? Is that always happening? Probably is, eh? Kind of funny. Oh yeah, where's everybody from? Let's hear all this. I'm curious. It's always fun to know. That's 10:25 where we are. Yeah, it's late. Alright. Let's just press on one of these buildings and press F so we get to fix our rotations. Okay. So, this here is where the out-of-world ones get used. And then... Shit. Here is where the rest of the items get used. Right? Remaining items will be scripted in the yes/no panel. Okay, so these two items that are here, which is just like the walking and whatnot, they need to be on some sort of controller that just determines... Oh, I can put it in my spell manager probably. That's not a bad spot to put it. It's basically a public bool. No. Yeah, we'll have a bool first. And we'll set it to be called... What do we call this walk? It was like Elementus Walk, named after the game. If you guys are curious, that is going to be the name of the game. We're calling it Elementus. And then we're also going to have a public float walk timer equals 0. Void update if walk timer is greater than 0. Actually, I can just do if elementus walk. Then we're gonna say walk timer equals walk timer minus time dot delta time. And then if walk timer is less than 0, elementus walk equals false, walk timer equals 0, and debug.log elementus walk wore off. Okay, so we'll put these, I'll leave them where they are. It doesn't really cause me problems. I'm just gonna put some comments here and say elementus walk stuff. Carlos, I can't even pronounce that. Sumi Poika? Sumi Poika. Sumi Poika. That's my guess. I don't know. Wait, probably. Who knows? Norway, Germany. Oh, most people here are from Europe, eh? Surprising. So I stream early on in the day, and I get people watching when it's late at night for them. So I wonder if I kept streaming, I'd start getting people from like United States and Canada. If that's a thing. Who knows? Okay, so this one I have our two variables in our spell manager, like so. Oh, Jason's from the US, so we got a few people from the United States. I do want to give this a header and just call it header elementus walk variables. There we go. So this will separate it and we'll move it down. Boom. Okay. So if you're using the elementus item, use item from inventory. You have the English vowels. You must know the standard vowels that most of the EU country use. I feel like it's sume, but I don't know how to do P-O-I, because I feel like it's po, and then there's a K, so it's poka? Sumi poika. I don't know. I have no idea. Couldn't tell you. Okay. So if this is here, we do want the item actions to be called here. So we're going to create another public... Oh no, it can be item index. That's fine. We can just call this still. So we can say use item from inventory. Item index. I don't have an item index anymore, so let's just get that real quick. Item index. And I have to obviously start this off with item actions. There we go. And then if this is greater than 2, show elementals to use this on. That's not what we want to use it though. We want to use it here. Okay, so we need to set the item index. Oh, but this is no longer the vertical counter, because this is going to change on the elemental. Okay, I'm seeing some flaws here. I mean, I guess technically that's swearing, so I can't allow that. Okay, so we need the used item counter. That's what we need to set up. So it's here, private int player item index. Okay. So that's going to be set up instead. So when you do this, it's going to be like that. This is equal to the vertical counter.index. If this is greater than 2, we're going to say try to use an item, which does all this. Oh, we have player potion index. We can just use that one. We don't need this variable. I mean, it doesn't really matter. We're going to use it. Who cares? So we go over here. We're going to have the player item index. And then the elemental index goes here. So we're going to need a second value, which is what elemental to use it on. And then down here, we're going to put in the value of -1. Okay. Now this isn't going to say... No, this isn't right. This isn't right. This should just be like this. That's not item index. That's player item index. Now in my item action, we're going to need to say int elemental, or player elemental. Okay. If, you know what, let's just debug.log. P item is P item index. P elemental is plus P elemental index. It's all going to return false regardless, but let's go. That's an interesting way to type Cyrillic. Okay, so the P item is 1, elemental is -1. Good. Now here, P item is 3, elemental is 2, elemental is 1, elemental is 3. And we're still using the third item. This is 8 using 1. So we're saying we want to use the 8th item in our database, and we want to use it on the certain creature, right? I think I know more Spanish than I do French. I was practicing Spanish for a little bit. French it's very isolated to Quebec and New Brunswick. Very isolated. Like, I'll even show you if we look up. I'm pretty sure there's more people who speak Chinese in the rest of Canada than there are that speak French in the rest of Canada. Right, let's get the number here. Okay, so in Ontario there's 4%. Now if I look up, if we just get Ontario itself, oh, silence right there. Oh, it doesn't have a breakdown, eh? That's interesting. How about I type in languages of Canada? Oh wait, what's that right here? That's religion, duh. Languages of Canada. It's funny, most English speakers in Ontario actually say they really dislike French because they're forced to speak it. But I think that's just silliness. So yeah, in Ontario, wow, this is in 2011, there's only 284,000, while here it's saying there's 560. I guess because this is first language. But yeah, so French is going down percentage-wise. So is English, surprisingly. I didn't realize that my country is, like, not very English. I didn't know this. Like, overall in Canada, it's only 64%. Crazy. Yeah, so French only's dropped. People have become more bilingual. So that just tells you that French is becoming less and less common in here. In this country, I mean. curious, why doesn't it show like Chinese or something? If I typed in, are these the native languages? Those are natives. It's the sign languages. Oh, it's only 450,000, but where do they all reside? That's the question. Because I know like all of this is literally in and around Toronto. So there's like, well, all of this I should say. So there's less Chinese all of a sudden. It's bizarre. But that's literally more speakers and they're all French in the rest of Ontario, right? So French is less common than pretty much all these other languages. Make America British again. Okay. So if p item index is less than 2. Wait, let me just check. When I was pressing, I haven't saved yet. When I was pressing that first item, was that a 0 or was that a 1? That was a 1. And this is a 2. So it's less than or equal to 2. Then we're going to say elementus walk items. Okay. England should invade Ireland and annex it. Lol. God damn, man. God damn. Alright guys, it's time again for another round of ad roulette. So I'm just going to press it without giving an introduction and boom. Okay. We need to get a reference to our spell manager. So spell manager, actually I want an elementus, no it's in spell manager, that's right. Spell manager, S manager equals game object, find game object with tag, spell manager dot get component, spell manager, S manager dot elementus walk equals true. S manager dot why can I only set the one value? Oh, it's walk timer, that's why. Walk timer. And what we're gonna do, we need a value, right? So how should we set this value? How many minutes is this ability to avoid creatures going to last? Now I'm gonna want to set this probably here, because we're getting from our index. So we're gonna set this specifically from this. No, we shouldn't. Should we? Did I create the animations for my spells? I have not, Wolf. I have not. I haven't created the icons either. I'm just getting all the database functionality working. So we're just gonna set the walk timer to equal 1. You know, I'll do some math. That's all I'll do. Walk timer equals S manager dot walk timer plus 1 times by because the value is either gonna be 1 or a 2. See, here's my dilemma. I could put the action amount here and just say like 1 minute, 5 minutes, right? But the way that I set up my potions for stuff like Unburn, it was based on the action amount rather than the index. So it might be confusing, or I might confuse myself in the future, but I'll do it, whatever. So we need to get a reference also to the combat manager, right? No, we want the inventory database. This is going to be wanted regardless, so I'm going to put it at the top. Now, IDB equals this plus IDB dot items in brackets p item index minus 1. Because that's 1, that should be 0. I think. Dot action amount. Like that. There we go. And then we're going to, does potion have use? That's always going to have a use. So because of that, we're going to try to consume IDB index minus 1. I don't know how you do this minus 1 all of a sudden. That's really bizarre. Player potion index. What is... Oh, this isn't potions, this is items. What is this all of a sudden? Int player's inventory index. Where is this in the inventory? Oh, shit. Good question. Where is this in the inventory? Okay. Okay. I've handed myself the wrong value. Okay, that's fine. I can go back and fix this. Main menu. Oh no, I do have player item index. That's what I'm handing. Oh, this is an index of 1. Okay, I see I did wrong. So this is why it's a 1. This should be a 0. And that'll be Elementus Walk. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's not even all the items. It's fine. How many items are there in total now? There should be 12. So this needs to be 12. And 11. Okay. So that's where I goofed. This number that we put in here somewhere, it's so hard to look at. Okay, this value is wrong. So we have IDB dot items, and then we need P item index. No, oh my gosh, I've confused myself. Player inventory is this. Index equals, okay, so I need player inventory. There. Then we need the index, which is this. Int index equals this. Items index dot index. Good. Now, let's turn all these off for a second, make sure this is all working. And basically, I think it needs to be like this, but I'm going to debug, and I'm going to say P item is this, P elemental is this, the index is plus index. Communism shouldn't be genocide though. Like, communism on paper is probably the best ideology, but it doesn't work because it factors out humans, and the fact that it takes out humans means it's fundamentally flawed. But like the idea of just like everybody's equal and we all live a nice life, that's pretty enticing, right? So if I use this, it should say index is 0. There we go. Index is 1. Good. Now I get why it's less than 2. There's a good quote where it's like, if I can be right 75% of the times, I would be happy, right? And it's basically saying, like, if you're right, even like 55% of the time, you can just go work on Wall Street and you get rich. So most people need to realize that, like, they're not always right. So even if you have like a communist country or any type of government, it won't always be right. But yeah, I do agree with Malachi. We should stop talking about politics. Mr. K, why are you mad? Let us know. So if this is less than 2, now we can say Elementus Walk items. Good. So, because of that, I don't know why I got rid of those 2 comments. We need the spell manager. We need to say Elementus Walk is true. We need to set the walk timer to equal this dot items And this can now say index. Index. Excuse me, dot action amount. Now when we consume, excuse me again, this should be index. This should be p item index. And this should be items. Okay. So now we're trying to consume one of our items. That should be all I need to get the element walk to work. Like, how do we even get off topic? Good question. The person I call my best friend just stabbed me in the back. Trump is too fat to jump over his own wall. The best friend. What did best friend do? And stuck with these interesting lines of code. It's true that the code themselves aren't that interesting. So, use, item was consumed, and element does walk wore off almost instantly. But you can see if we go to our spell manager. Actually, it also didn't update. So we gotta make sure we update, because that should say 1. And now all of a sudden it's strong element just walk. Wait, that's not right. I only used it once, didn't I? Oh no, it says I used it twice. Okay. So I used it twice without realizing, that's all. Got scared there. But if we look and I use this, it still says 2. Element just walk just wore off. It wore off again. Now it's using the strong one because this didn't reset the screen. So I think when you use the Elementus walk, I'm gonna also disable the screen, right? So, okay, this is gonna return a bool, right? Used items for inventory. Now on this return true, we're gonna say in our main menu, okay, look, we used an item. It was an Elementus walk. Which means now it's time to say bool did we walk equals this. Oh, okay, I'm back online. Whew. That was scary. Hopefully, if it dies again, then I'm just gonna stop streaming, but I don't think it'll die again. Yeah, okay. So if we did do this walk, we're gonna say that we are toggling the menu. Bool castable. Okay, so if we're doing a spell, right, then if we toggle the menu, where did I actually set it? Oh, it was in the cast spell manager, right? Spell manager. For int return. But I've confused myself again. So if I do this, it's just going to close the main menu. Use. And there you go, it used the Elementus walk. And the way it was kind of jumping oddly, but which is odd. Yeah, so we're using it, but how did we make it so that we couldn't move an entity input? Right, we put in a variable here called casting spell. Let's look for that. It's not in our item action. It's not in here. It's not in here. Oh right, we put in spellcast. I see. Available spells. I want to add another available spell here. I'll just call it generic. Where is it? Okay, this is in spell manager. Waterfall. If I add it though, this needs to be reduced by 1. Or I can just call it. Wait. Why not just call this as a spell, right? Why not set this here? Elementus Walk. That doesn't change anything. Then we could say hmm. Oh, Mr. K, that's always fun. It's rough. Very rough. I'm trying to debate now. This can be in here, that's fine, if it's in available spells. I might just call this, like, default. Right? Now, this is going to loop through them, that's fine. Now, when... I guess we can just call cast spell from here, right? Or I guess I can do it... Wait, do I want to do it here? So I can just say get point, cast spell, spell being cast. And I can just put this here instead. Yes, this is good. This is good. And we will put... veil spell... Oops. Dot default. So this puts us automatically in cast spell, which is over here, which does this. I feel like I could also make it toggle the menu there, because both of these are saying toggle the menu, right? So then I don't need this to even return a bool. I don't know. Anyways, guys, I'm actually going to just end my stream here, I think. It's been a good 3 hours. I'm going to keep working on this. I want to start modeling stuff soon. I'm getting closer and closer to finishing this, but it is taking me a long ass time. So, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I've been me, you've been you. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Those are all very helpful. Tell people about me, I guess. I don't really know what to say. Take care, everybody.